Dr. Oz sure did clarify things last night, didn't he? Well, most of us think a decision over things like abortion and family and health should come down to a woman and her doctor. Dr. Oz was nice enough to basically own up that the Republican Party thinks it should be woman, doctor, and local political leaders all together in the room making this decision. I mean, that's obviously outrageous for most people, but I want to drill down because it's actually even worse than this phrase, local political leaders, would have you think. Who are these leaders? It turns out they're the worst people you'd ever want in that room because of the structure back in states that leads to who's in these offices. I go through this in my book, Laboratories of Autocracy. The people in these state houses, almost for the most part, have never been in a real election. The gerrymandering is so bad that basically in states like Ohio, over 10 years, I go through the average, you have a big chunk that average 50% of margin of victory or more, another big chunk, 30% margin of victory or more, another 20% margin of victory or more, another 10. You're talking about almost an entire group of people whose entire careers have been spent running for office with no real general election. What does that mean? The only thing this group of, quote, local political leaders worry about is a primary, which means they have every incentive to be what? Extremists. So local political leaders, by gerrymandering, are essentially empowered extremists sealed off from the population. That's who Dr. Oz wants in that room. And what does that look like in practice? I'll give you a few examples. It's in Ohio, one of our extremists is named Jean Schmidt. She says that rape is an opportunity to deliver a child into the world. That's only something 10% of Ohioans agree with, but that's what happens when you have extremists in the room. Or how about putting John Becker in the room? This was Jean Schmidt's predecessor. He once tried to pass a law requiring a certain type of surgery for ectopic pregnancies that doctors said was impossible. They want him in the room. Or how about Senator Steve Huffman? He is a doctor. This is a guy who got infamous for a few weeks because he actually suggested that African Americans wash their hands less than others. These are the extremists you're putting in the room, Dr. Oz, and it's guaranteed because the institutional incentives that come out of gerrymandering. Get these people out of that room.